Leo Savage. Yeah. Leo Savage. Leo Savage. Going all the way in. We about to smash it. Leo Savage. Leo Savage. Got the matches, about to set that game on fire. Yeah. Leo Savage. Leo Savage.
Just realized we had the ammo all the way up. We had the volume all the way up. What the deal is? Guys, it's your boy. Did I already introduce myself? I might have already introed myself. Well, if you don't know me, my name is Leo. Leo Savage. I'm the creator of Steel Mace Flow, and today we'll be bringing you a little bit of Steel Mace Flow education. Let's go. You know, the Leo Savage song really hits hard. You know what? Let me actually just do something a little fun. I want to share the song with you. Bam, there it is. In the link. In the chat. Did it show up in this chat? Yeah, it did. It sure did. Okay. We added the chat window over here so you guys can chime in as we go. We got 7 people watching right now. I think it is time to get going. You know what I'm slowly realizing though is my caffeine's a little low. Maybe we should get a little bit more caffeine in our system. What? How about do my frame? What happened? That's that one. What happened to the? What happened? We had a. Remember, we had a thing worked out where I pushed the button and you were supposed to go over here. You remember that? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. You know, this is the show business. You know, this is the show business, guys. Give me just a second. I'll be right with you. Bam! Just like that. You know what? I spent all this time. Well, not always, but this morning I spent some time getting things ready so we would have a nice smooth chat. But you know, things happen. You know, I want to say what's up, Matt. What the deal is? Crystal Johnson in the house. So good to see you guys. We've almost got everything up and running, and we'll get started here in just a bit. So I'm from, yo, man, it feels so good to have the squad here, man. So thank you guys for joining, and go ahead and hit like, go ahead and hit subscribe if this is your first time here. Hit like because, well, you know, because you're supposed to do that. It's like when someone puts their hand out to shake it, you shake it, right? So this is me, put my handshake out there, and you accept the handshake, just hit like. It's going to be easy. It's going to be so easy. Easy. Try it. Did you try it? Try it. Whoa. So yesterday we covered the 360. Yesterday we covered the 360. Today we're going to... There we go. Found it. Today we're going to be covering the uppercut. Okay, so let's talk about the uppercut a little bit. The uppercut comes from a move that you guys know and love, and I'm going to pull out something. This might be a little shocking for you guys. Don't freak out, okay? Maybe we should get a close-up here so you guys... You know what, let me stop the camera. All right, you guys guess what piece of sporting equipment I'm going to pick up right now. Just guess what I'm going to pick up right now. All right. A little hint. You can see you saw my foot moving it in the last frame, so maybe you guys already know. But how would you feel if you knew the uppercut in the steel mace came from the barbell clean? Well, I hope I don't upset anybody with it, but it's partially true. And I'd like to break down some elements of the two moves, There it is. I'm going to start by picking up my barbell. Now, make sure whenever you lift up a barbell, you hold your breath and you lift in a jerking motion with your spine. Back up, camera. All right, and so this is me at a dead hang position with a barbell. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my elbows and I'm going to pull them as far back as I can. Now, this is not maybe a traditional barbell clean. This might be a little bit different. But either way, I'm going to pull the bar back until my elbows are parallel with my knuckles. So you should not be able to see my elbows. And then that's really it. Now, I'm using my body to lever the bar against. It's fairly easy. And then I'm lowering. Bang, super easy. All right, so from here, after I've done that, I'm going to push my elbows forward and lock my wrist. So there's the push, or there's the pull, and then I'm just going to lift my barbell into my pressing position. I'm sure you guys have all been here with the barbell, but that's really it. 3 positions. 1, 2, 3. Now, I know there's a bunch of different cleans. The zombie clean. I can't believe I did that. You know why they call this one the zombie clean? Because you're like, ooh. All right. But basically, we're going from a dead hang position to over the shoulders. Okay, so let's examine that. I think one of my favorite things to say this year has been double click. Let me double click on that. I noticed my chat box that I spent all morning working on is it's not working. You see these? We spent hours on that this morning, and it decided not to work. All good. We got Angelo who says boxing glove. All right, appreciate that. All right, so let's go ahead and do the same thing with our mace. Now, you can go arms wide, you can go arms short. I'm talking about the length that your hands are away from each other. And we're going to go through that same move. I'm going to rotate my elbows behind me. Maybe you can see that quick rotation of the shoulder. From there, I'm going to pull my elbows back until my knuckles are parallel with my elbows. You can see that a lot better now that I've got the mace. And then I'm just going to lift my elbows up and underneath. And this is a clean. Voila. All right, so the uppercut, and maybe you guys have seen this before, is a move that starts out in a dead hang position, although this one is rotated. Check me out. I'm going to take the weighted side, and I'm going to put the globe behind me. Now, in using the mace, if I'm in a dead hang position, most of the time, generally speaking, so I can use the full benefit of the asymmetrical build of the mace, keeping the mace and the body symmetrical adds a challenge of countering rotation. You don't need to get too heavy into necessarily what that means. Just consider it the workout portion of the set. Okay? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to rotate the mace to the side, just like we did. Whether our arms are short in length or long in length, our goal is that when we get to the side, we are symmetrical. Whether we use the whole mace or half of the mace or a very little bit of the mace. But the idea is to be symmetrical. Let me give you some examples of not being symmetrical. And this is me not resisting the rotation, not countering the rotation. I'm just kind of letting the weight do what it wants, which usually the heavy side will want to get as close to you as it can. From the side, there is a very straight line. Now we're going to talk about my hips. One thing I want to do with my hips is what you'll notice is as you bring the mace behind you, what you might notice is the side that the weight is on might want to open up just like mine did. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for this example, what I want you to do is I want you to firm your hips in place. And that can be done fairly easy. I'm going to flex into the ground. How do I do that? I stand with my feet facing basically straight. I have a soft bend in my knees. Now, the soft bend in my knees allows me to torque my hips forward, which helps me tighten my glutes. And from there, I'm going to take my feet and I'm going to spread the floor apart, which should cause a full leg flex. Your toes should be flexing, your calf should be flexing, your quads should be flexing, your glutes. Did I say glutes or glutes? Both of those should be flexing. And now that I've flexed myself into the ground, as I rotate, what you'll notice is my upper body does the majority of the rotation, but my lower body is cemented into the ground. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, the reason why I brought up that this move is very similar to the barbell clean, whenever you are doing a deadlift or a barbell clean, any fucking barbell move at all, the idea is for your hips to be square. So, if I was going to do a deadlift, I would want to cement myself into the ground. I would want everything to be symmetrical. And I'm going to use that same idea here. I'm going to control my hips as I get into position, even though the position does require a little bit more range. And this is our starting bottom position. Now, to make things easier on you, if this is your first time, we're going to shorten the length of our mace, which technically means my hand doesn't have to reach as far back because I'm using just less mace. Notice how my right hand is by my hip. That means I'm not really reaching back that far. My range of motion is very limited. Now I'm going to grab the top of the handle. I'm going to make everything symmetrical, and you can see that my right hand is really reaching far back behind me, like so. Now I'm noticing on the camera, and it might just be the camera angle, but I don't look very symmetrical here. I look very symmetrical here. It's been a while since I worked out in front of a mirror, so it is very good to see the angles. All right, so we have our bottom position. Next thing we're going to do, let me go ahead and face forward, is I'm going to keep the mace very close to me, and I'm going to bring the head of the mace right by my hip, and I'm going to bring the top of the mace right by my shoulder. If you've ever wore a seatbelt, this is the same position you are in when you are in a car. There's a little buckle that you buckle in. It goes down from your hip all the way to your shoulder like so. And that'll be our second position. First position starting down at the bottom. Second position crossing the chest. And we do call this position crossbody bottom, most specifically because the mace is running across the body and the weight's on the bottom. So very simple. From there, all I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my elbow straight up. Boom. And I'm going to go all the way back down. Now I'm going to do a clean. And now I'm going to do an uppercut. If you think about it, the difference in the two, one stays in one plane. It's in front of me. The other crosses planes from the right side to the front side to the left side. So this is more like a rotated clean. Hey, the uppercut is good for generally everything, especially if you cement yourself into the ground. If your legs are fighting and holding for position while you're doing reps, your legs get the benefit. If your core is fighting for position, slinging weight back and forward, your core is getting some work. Of course, holding on to the mace, everything from the fingers to the shoulders, is getting work. And but most specifically, whenever I work uppercuts, I feel them in my arms. All right, let's go over a variety of uppercuts. Real quick, before I get going, does anybody have any questions about the uppercut? Ireland checking in. Roger. You know what? This is awesome. I can do this. Now I can see everybody's chat. Yes, the world is a better place for me. All right. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a few different uppercuts. The first uppercut I'm going to do is our traditional uppercut, and I want you guys to do this with plenty of mace handle running out the bottom. So instead of using a full grip, let's use a short grip. From our short grip, let's go ahead and perform an uppercut, which means the mace is going to go across the body and then over the shoulder, which we're learning now is a rotated clean. I'm doing my best to keep my hips in place. I'm allowing my core to rotate. My core is actually doing more of the weight distribution than you would think. As I rotate my core over, that's what guides my mace into position or into momentum. And once it guides into momentum, I lift the mace head up, and voila, I am in my uppercut. Now we are going to do a three-part uppercut. We're going to do an uppercut with the handle. We're going to do an uppercut with the full mace. And then we're going to do an uppercut with the head of the mace. Voila. Now, I like to think of progression. I think it is easier to use less of the mace and uppercut. I find it equally challenging to use the full length of the mace to uppercut because of the increased range of motion. And I find the uppercut with the head of the mace to be the most physically demanding, specifically on my right arm. Obviously, we've got about 16 inches of mace still coming out from the bottom of my hand. So there is probably a focus point on where all the tension is, or where the majority of the tension is. Okay, and let's try that from the beginning. We're going to go from the head of the mace. Tail. Notice as I went back down, I slid my hand into the next striking position. I'm going to have my full uppercut. And remember, as I go back down, I'm going to slide into position. Head of the uppercut. Now that one was a double switch. In order for me to get to the head of the uppercut to the tail of the uppercut, I needed to make one hand transition instead of just the single slide. Regular uppercut. This one's kind of fun. I take the mace and almost stab it through my hand. Uppercut with the head. And now here is the double action. Hand down, uppercut, slide, uppercut, stab, uppercut, slide, 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 slide. Now, if you do that in like a 1-2 punch, what you will notice is you funnel a little rotation or sling a little bit mace. I'm throwing the mace in a way that the rotation, that all the energy I'm using is exiting out the tip. All right, let's go again. Actually, let's go into the other side and start with our very easiest uppercut, which is our narrow uppercut. We're going to go across the chest and all the way over. Next, we're going to use the full mace and do a traditional uppercut. Next, we're going to stab our hand through and do a uppercut with the head of the mace. And then I'm going to slide back down and do a double pull. Pull my hand down, pull my hand down. Short uppercut, full uppercut. And watch for the stab to switch positions, third uppercut. We'll have two hand transitions here. 1, 2. Now you might notice on that second punch down, there's a lot of force that is happening here. For one, the cannonball at the end of the stick is asking to sling. And because it's attached to my arms, it's actually wanting to pendulum. And soon as I slap on the brakes, boom! The handle, all the energy from all that momentum and all that structure flies out the handle. And so I like to think of this third uppercut not only as an uppercut with the head, but in turn, a strike with the handle. Now, much like when a gymnast lands after doing a vault, or I like to think of the uneven bars when they do the big flip and they land into the mat, the first thing they do is spring up. I like to think of this old saying, force down equals force up to not lose your position. Force down equals force up in order to not lose your position. And so, because I'm slinging so much weight I can tend to lean into it. And since there is so much force going down, I'm going to do everything I can at this bottom snapping point to reaffirm my position that I should be in. Make sense? Short uppercut. Full uppercut. Head uppercut. Slide, slide, and here it goes. You can start to see me leaning down. I'm going to start leaning back, and boom, there's the strike. Short, full, head, pop, pop. Woo! It's a lot of fun. Short uppercut, full uppercut, head uppercut, pop, 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 pop. Oops, I lost my position. Short, full, head, pop, pop. Short, full, head, stop, stop, short, full. A little burner this morning. I felt that one, man. Where's my drink at? Guys, I'll just admit it. I took I know this is Mace education, but it's also my talking point. I did one of those 3 a.m. stay-ups. Haven't done that in a long time, but I took a huge nap in the daytime, and today's going to be a long day. When's the last time you stayed up till 3 a.m.? Huh? I didn't do that once all year. That's what I like to think. All right, guys. Now let's go back to our clean and use the 3 different hand configurations on the mace. First thing we have is our dead hang position, elbows back, mace up. This feels very easy. Next, if I use more mace, I feel a little bit more challenged because the mace head is a little bit more outside my frame. And then finally, oh yeah, now I can really feel where this is working on the right side of my body. Of course, the left side of my body is flexing to stay into position. Dead hang position. All the way up. Short. All the way up. And wide. All the way up. Beautiful. Okay, so we have 3 different hand configurations on the mace when we do our uppercut. Let's take our uppercut to a whole new direction. And this time, instead of the weight crossing the body to do our uppercut, our weight's going to stay on the same side, and we're going to do what's called a same side uppercut. Check this out. I'm going to start in my dead hang position, and because this is the first one of the day, we're going to use less of the mace, so this is easier on the system. I'm in my rotated landmark 1. From there, I'm just going to stand my mace up, just like so. From there, I'm going to take the mace and slide it over my head. Boom. And this is a same side uppercut. Now, the same side uppercut isn't done a lot. I wish it was done more. But I developed the same side uppercut because of where it puts my hand. It's taking my hand and driving it down and back into, if you were doing 360s with this yesterday, you know that this is a position that we get in. Now, whenever you ask somebody to touch their back, sometimes there's this weird thing, and a lot of it's like muscle buildup, maybe a shortness of range, but it's not something everybody can do. And so using a prop to help get the hand back, all I'm doing is holding on to the handle and using my bottom hand to push the mace in place. And as you can see, I'm in the same position I would be in as if I was swinging a 360. Same side uppercut. cross-body uppercut, same side. All right, now this move's about to get real funky. We're going to change our hand configuration. We had level 1, where we were using the head of the mace and the middle handle. Next, we're going to use the full length of the mace and do that same side uppercut. Well, let's talk about this. If my arms are this far apart now, when I get the mace up into its position, how far are my arms going to be apart? Well, let's find out. Oh. As you can see, once I get symmetrical, I am reaching back very far outside of my natural range, and actually, it's very hard to get into this position without my mace. And so not only am I working my muscles, but I'm asking my body to give me more range. Sha! Oh, wait. I'm supposed to be holding on to the... You guys should have reminded me. Holding on to the bottom and the top. Going into our same uppercut. Ooh, yeah. And a view from the side. All right, which side of my body do you think is doing the most work? Yeah, the side reaching 3 feet behind my head. All right, and now let's switch into our new favorite position, the handle portion. Now this should be easier because I'm using less range, but be harder because what? Because of the asymmetric nature of the mace. Look how far the handle is out in front of me. Now one of the great things, one of the biggest learning points on the same side uppercut, swinging with the head of the mace, is you realize how important this hand that feels kind of helpless. It's been pushed back into position slowly and has accepted responsibility. However, when you do the same side uppercut with the head of the mace, what you realize is that this front hand can't do all the work by itself. Well, maybe sometimes. But if you add the gift of the range you've been training, you start to realize how much power this backhand actually has. Short, full, and the head. Short, full, head. You gotta shake that one out, man. That one's I'm feeling that one. Feeling it a little bit. Boom, and that is the same side uppercut. What do you guys think? We got 2 uppercuts. We've got our traditional uppercut, crosses the body. And we've got our same side uppercut that goes over the head. And now, let's teach you how to transition an uppercut. We'll teach you a flow with the uppercut. One of my favorites. Let me click on something. One of my very favorite flows. Of course, if you've been following me for any length of time, I say before I teach a flow, this is one of my favorite flows. I say that about all of them. I guess they're all my favorite flows. All right, next thing we're going to learn is a hand transition, which we call the sword draw switch, and it's easy. We're going to start off in our cleaned position from the front. You know, I can really feel the lack of sleep in my words. All right. From our pressing position or the top of our barbell clean, this is going to be very simple. We're going to let the head of the weight stabilize with one hand, and we're going to slowly reach over the mace and slide our mace handle straight down. I've gripped the mace straight down with both thumbs facing down, and now I'm going to switch hands and actually slide my hand into position to where I get into the top position again, but this time the weight's on the other side. Hopefully that's what happened. You know, actually when I do this move kind of slow, it tends to trip people up. But if you think about it, all I'm doing is taking this hand and switching this hand. And I'm doing it in a way that there's no gaps in connection. I'm doing it in a way where both hands stay on the mace virtually the whole time. After a while, you're right, I will probably make a little throw from one hand to the next. And that's our switch. That's our switch that we will be using for today. All this stuff has a bunch of names, so I don't want to get too technical on you guys. I just want to get you guys moving and grooving. I would talk a lot with my hands, and my camera seems to have picked up on that. Okay, there we go. All right, so here's the drill. We're going to do our uppercut that we have been doing, and I'm going to start off pretty short on our mace. Once the mace has gone all the way across, I'm going to go 2 thumbs down, catch the mace, and switch to the other side, lower the mace. I'm going to do the same uppercut, cross the body, all the way up. From there, I'm going to let the tail drop down, go 2 thumbs down, switch around, and drop down. Did you guys hear how many round downs? Sound like a 90s hip-hop song. Round down, switch it around to the down. Here we go from the bottom. Cross. Into landmark 3. We have a sword draw switch, 2 thumbs facing down. We're going to lower our mace. Cross the body up. Switching hands, 2 thumbs down, switch around, all the way down. Cross, up, switch, and down. Cross, up, switch, and down. Now, the uppercut, if you think about it, is a punch. Bah! But this really isn't. It doesn't really have the same stopping whip force. What you'll notice about the uppercut is it turns into a swing, turns into a throw, because we're not necessarily stopping it. Well, we're stopping it at the bottom, but what we can do is get rid of some of that. Here's what we'll do. I mean, think about it. You're not just doing your uppercut to here. You're doing your uppercut all the way through. And once you get a little bit better, what you'll start to do is funnel the weight from position to position. And because the mace is in continuous movement or in perpetual momentum, it's not really a punch, because we don't punch like this. I mean, maybe you do, but you know, the flies would take you in a street fight. That's all I'm saying. Okay, we got the uppercut. We got the switch. I'm not going to lower my mace all the way down, but instead, once I get into this right angled position on the way down, I'm going to fire. Switch. Once I get into my right angled position, I'm going to rotate and fire. And this is what we call the uppercut fighter. Now, I'm using the short end of the mace, but you can use all of it. Or you can use the short part, which is a lot tougher, but also fun. I love danger. Bam! And that is the uppercut. Guys, short and sweet today. Tomorrow I'm going to come back feeling a little bit more slept, and I'm going to give you guys some great content. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'm just going to pop over into my seat, and I'm going to have a little chat, see if I can help you guys out with anything. We got Matt, who is changing dirty diapers. Ireland checking in. Rashab, love the basics. Thank you so much. AR Fitness Alexander, love this too. Yo, 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 yo. Thank you guys so much. It makes me incredibly happy to share the gift of fitness. And I'm going to make a New Year's pledge to bring you guys as much as much education content as I can. We're on episode 2. We hope to put out 300 episodes this year, all free, still Mace Flow stuff. We do have a gentleman's agreement here at the page. If you're watching, you're subscribing. You don't have to, but it sure would mean a lot to me. Simple deal. You hit subscribe. You watch my stuff guilty-free, duty-free, and you help grow the Still Mace Flow community. Also, if you're here, please take time to add into the comment box. Those two things will help me out the most. I should say help us out the most. Yes! All right, so that is the little bit of Mace education that we're going to do today. We're trying not to take these things over 30 minutes. I'm going to jump off and immediately jump on my Twitch account. And I'm going to be doing some moving around, specific work. Specific work to help get me ready for this weekend. So if you have a Mace and you'd like to come along, we would appreciate it. Boom. And also, we are doing our best to bring light to the gaming community. And so we were streaming on Twitch. If you guys want to move around with me free every morning, it seems like every morning. I need to write a schedule. Yeah, I think that's actually next on the list. All right, awesome. Yo, thank you as well, my guy. We will see you guys over on Twitch. Give me probably 15, 20 minutes. Get your Mace, clear some space, and let's go.